Employees don't quit their job, they quit their boss. Think about it. Who do you want to work for? Do you want to work for a leader who shouts and yells at you under stress? Or would you rather work for a boss who knows how to control their emotions and those around you? Good evening, fellow Toastmaster. Tonight, I would be talking to you about emotional intelligence. I would be telling you what EQ is all about, why it is a must-have for a leader in corporate America, and what are the 4 elements of EQ. And I would be adding my favorite, give me 1 second. Sorry, my daughter is here. I'll be right back. And I would also be, sorry about that, that's my daughter. And I would also be sharing some of my personal experience learning about EQ and utilizing it during COVID and layoff at my work. So what is emotional intelligence? It's an ability to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotion of those around you. So why has it become such a big hype in corporate America where, all the job recs, especially for the bigger leadership position, EQ is stated. Everybody is looking for leaders with EQ. Number 1, leaders, they set the tone of the organization. They are the pillar of an organization. You must have noticed when you have a big meeting and the leader is not in a good mood, when the leader walks in, is in a very bad mood, you must have noticed what happened in that meeting. People are awfully quiet. Or some people, they get nervous and talk randomly without any context, right? Because that mood sets the tone in the room and people are nervous about it or they're very quiet about it. So that's why it's vital for leaders to have good emotional intelligence. If they don't have emotional intelligence, what does that mean? It could possibly mean lower employee engagement, number 1, low productivity, and probably which will result in higher turnover rate. So what are the key elements of EQ? Number 1 is self-awareness. In order to bring the best in others, you first need to bring the best in yourself. That's what self-awareness is about. It's just being able to understand your own emotions, number 1. Number 2 is self-management. Now that you have acknowledged your emotion, how do you reflect? How do you manage it? Do you get mad at people at work inappropriately, or do you compose your emotions and still have a positive outlook in spite of the setbacks? Number 3 is social awareness. It's the ability to read the room. It's the ability to actually pick up emotions in others and understand where it's coming from. I'm sure we all can relate when we're young, when we're asking, especially when we have to ask something from our parents, you look at, is dad or mom in a good mood, right? We are reading their emotions. So it's same for social awareness for EQ as well, just being able to read the room. And number 4 is relationship management. Your ability to use awareness of your emotions and the other's emotion to manage interaction successfully. So these are the 4 key elements of EQ: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and then relationship management. As soon as COVID hit, as a leader, I had to learn about EQ hard and fast. With COVID came layoffs in my company where we lost half of my team members. There were a lot of emotions: sadness, demotivation, as well as fear of, am I in the next list? So as a leader, all I could offer, the only thing that was in my control was to connect with the employees, to understand where they are. Maybe for a couple of weeks, I have to put the performance aside and just care about them at a human level so that I can still be connected with them. I can still drive the results as I'm supposed to do as a leader. So my question to you all today in the Wellington Toastmaster is, are you all emotionally intelligent leader? Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Susanna Tuladard. People don't quit their jobs, they quit their boss. How true is that statement? And leaders set the tone of the organization. EQ is so important now, especially with the ongoing pandemic. Thank you for sharing. Toastmaster Hyun Green, please provide us with the project information of our second speaker.
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster. It is my great pleasure to present to you the speech of Connie. Just like Susanna, Connie's path is dynamic leadership. And like Shastri read, the purpose of Connie's speech is to learn and review basic research methods and present it in a well-organized manner. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hyun. The speech title is, "In order to clean a house, you must first see the dirt." Connie has been at Wellington Toastmasters for 3 years, and oh, what a journey it has been. Tonight, she will share with you a technique she has learned to overcome pain, stress, anxiety, and more, called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Please welcome Toastmaster Connie Andrews.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster. So this evening, I am going to speak to you about a technique that has been around for many, 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 many years. And people like Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, many therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists are using this technique along with their other tools that they have in their toolbox. We call it tapping. And the reason that it's called tapping, T-A-P-P-I-N-G, is because we are actually tapping on our meridian points on different parts of our body. It is called, you will also hear it called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, right? So Emotional Freedom Technique. So we're going to talk about that this evening and how we can work it and how we can grow from it and come out on the other side, especially at a time like this with how the world is perceiving the virus, the politics. Things at work have changed, employees have changed, how we run our businesses have changed. So I want to start, I'm not going to be able to do a whole thing of tapping. However, I can give you a demonstration and I want you to do it along with me. So I want you to think about, we're going to talk about stress. So there's about 8 causes of stress. And I want you to, if the shoe fits, wear it. Right? And I want you to keep thinking about that thing that appeals to you. So finances, I don't have enough. Are we going to make it to the month, through the end of the month? That's one. Relationships, it could be relationships, stress relationships with your spouse, with your children, with your parents. Think about that. It could be stress with children. They are beautiful little bundles of joy, but boy, when they get older, you know, you just want to like, ah! Where did all that cuteness go? It could be about your business, your career. You know, maybe things aren't going the way you thought they were going to. Maybe you're not where you thought you were going to be at this time in your life. How about your health? with everything that we're hearing every day. How about your health? Maybe your kids, your parents, your health. You know, when are you going to start taking care of, you know, it's always on Monday. We're going to start the diet. We're going to get back on the treadmill. But do we actually do? Some of us do, some of us don't. Maybe we got stress over crime, over politics, over police. All right. So I want you to pick out one of those. And we're gonna do the tapping technique. So these points that I'm telling you about, this is the karate chop point, like how you would break a piece of wood with your hand right here in your karate chop point. In between your eyebrows, on the side of your eye, under your nose, under your mouth, under your collarbone, under your arm, and on top of your head. Okay, those are meridian points. And there's a really great one like this that's also great for stress, right? I love it because you can do it anywhere. You don't need special equipment. You can go in the bathroom and do this. You can sit in the car for an extra 3 minutes and do it and calm yourself down. So we start out by taking a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath with me. In and out. And you would do 3 cleansing deep breaths, but for the sake of time, we're going to keep going. And we're going to begin by tapping on our karate chop point. And we usually tap there 3 times. And what I'm going to say this evening in regards to stress, and you're going to follow me, so watch me. Don't close your eyes. You're going to watch me and do it along with me. Even though I feel stress and anxiety, and my bucket is pretty full, I choose to relax and feel safe. All this stress in between your eyebrows, side of your eye, so much stress, under your eye, it's such a heavy load, under your nose, I'm overwhelmed, under your mouth, it's too heavy, under your arm, all this panic on top of your head. I can feel how heavy it is. So what are we doing right now? We are cleaning the house. We cannot clean the house unless we see the dirt, right? And that's what we're doing. So we're going to replace those thoughts. We're going to acknowledge them and replace those thoughts with something like the following. Let's start with the eyebrow. Releasing this panic bucket right now. Side of the eye, gently putting it down. Under the eye, I can relax and feel safe. Under my nose, I can let my mind rest. Under the mouth, I can let my body rest. Under the collarbone, I can breathe more deeply and slowly right now. Under the arm, I can put this load down right now. And on top of the head, I am feeling peaceful now. All right, so we went from 1 to 10 in a pretty big, pretty fast. And normally what we would do is we would check in with ourselves in the beginning from 1 to 10. Where are you? 10 being the highest. And maybe when you got home from work today on Monday, you had a rush, your heart's still pounding and maybe you're stressed, but trust me when I tell you this, and believe me, as I take you on this little journey about tapping, is that when you, oh my goodness, when you do this, you are just going to feel so wonderful, and it's practice just like anything else, right? So what if the roadblock went away with tapping for you? What would it feel like? What would it look like? Any of these roadblocks go away, right? Anxiety is not just in your mind. Remember, anxiety comes out all over your body. So it's so important, again, to please clean the house. First clean the house, and you have to see the dirt first before cleaning the house. So if you want to know more about tapping, there's an app online, tappingsolution.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Connie Andrews. Who doesn't want to overcome stress, anxiety, and pain during these crazy times? Thank you for being a benevolent person and sharing with us your tools to calm ourselves down.
Welcome.
Could I have a brief timer's report?
All speakers were within the allotted time.
Thank you. Are we ready to vote? It's between Connie Andrews and Susanna Tuladard. Reminder, please give feedback to the speakers on what you liked and constructive criticism as well. Now moving on to the second section of our speech is table topics. This is an opportunity for members to develop their extemporaneous speaking skills. This is impromptu speaking. Guests are encouraged to participate, but we don't have any guests today. I heard it that time, Shay. Please welcome Toastmaster Micheline Numhard as our topics master.
Yay! Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Toastmaster of the Day. The topic master gives members who are not assigned a significant speaking role the opportunity to speak during the meeting. I challenge each member with the subject, and they will respond with 1 to 2 minutes impromptu talk. Please pay attention on the timing signals and utilize as much of these 2 minutes as you can. Our timer will display the timing signals now.
Able to hear me?
Yes.
Yep. So I'll display the green background once we've reached 1 minute. I'll display the yellow background once we've reached 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then I will display the red background once we've reached 2 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. Okay, we're going to have some fun this evening. What is your favorite superhero and why? And can you act it out? What is your favorite superhero and why? Jack.
Favorite superhero? Well, it would have to be Wonder Woman. That was maybe the first series that Connie ever saw, went to the movies. And I took it to her and we both absolutely loved it. I love badass bitches and she's one. And I say that with the highest regard. That we're, you know, it's funny because a woman can be called a bitch just for being tough and doing her job. What a guy does as just being a good boss, a woman may seem like a bitch, although that emotional intelligence stuff really comes into play, and a little benevolence also comes into play, and understanding people. But she was able to confidently know where she was going and go about her task in spite of what everybody else did around her. She had a goal, she moved towards that goal, and she is a bad superhero. I just watched some of the superheroes again. I haven't watched that show in a long time, but I'll have to watch Wonder Woman because you just reminded me of her. And I'm proud to be surrounded by so many wonderful women in this program and in life. And all of you, I salute every one of you in Toastmasters. Stacy, who's not here, Connie, who is my beloved. I love you all, and keep on being the wonderful, powerful, benevolent women that you are. God bless, and I love you.
Love that. Same topic goes to Mike Cantave. Who's your superhero and why? And can you act it out?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. So I'm going to have to say in my superhero voice, my superhero is Batman. And why the Batman? Because the Batman is a regular person, no superpowers, no ability to leap on walls and leap into the sky, but yet can defeat all the other ones with superhero. Why? Why? Because Batman thinks. He works hard and he uses his mind and conditions his body through discipline, which in life translates that if you want something, you put in the work and you study and you condition your body, you too can accomplish a lot of phenomenal things that seem like superhero, like seem like superpower. And just like fellow Toastmaster Jack said earlier, everyone here has the ability to be the superhero. Everyone here has that superpower that Batman has. And just like Batman, I like to retrieve in my bat cave, collect my thoughts, and figure out how we're going to attack and how we're going to defeat that enemy of life that is trying to get us down. But, you know, no matter how dark it seems when you're in the bat cave, you come out, and as the Dark Knight, you emerge amongst, you know, everyone else and defeat the superheroes. So for that reason, Batman is my superhero. Thank you all.
Sound like you were writing a comic book.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Where do you find your inspiration? Where do you find your inspiration? Gary Newbert.
Thank you, Topics Master. I was all prepared to speak on my favorite superhero.
You can say that, right? Go right ahead. Go ahead.
No. Where do I find my inspiration? I think one of the things that I love doing is being outdoors. And that gives me the opportunity to really just reflect on things and enjoy the beauty of nature, the sounds of the animals, the sounds of the birds. I don't enjoy the sounds of the mosquitoes though, but that's an area where I've always really been able to clear my head and think about life, think about the challenges that we're going through, think about all the beauty in life and all the things that I'd like to accomplish. That also ties in with what my favorite superhero would have been if I was answering that question, would be a superhero called Arrow, who, like me, loves shooting his bow. So he would be my favorite superhero. And he also grew up, he learned all his skills while stranded out on an island and having to fend for himself and survive. So that's where I find my inspiration, and that's who my favorite superhero would be. Thank you, Topic Master.
Thank you. Let's all close our eyes for 5 seconds and meditate. Just 5 seconds. That's 5 seconds. Jennifer, when you open or when you closed your eyes, what did you see for the 5 seconds?
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and invisible guest. What did I see for those 5 seconds when our Topics Master asked us to close our eyes? I saw peace. In today's society, there's so much turmoil around COVID and racial injustice. It was just nice to see waterfalls and a serene environment that gave me the chance to step outside of what I'm feeling on a daily basis and just look within. I probably also envisioned myself tapping to give myself some relaxation about what's going on around us. As a child, I lived in Puerto Rico, and one of my favorite places to go was the rainforest, El Yunque. And I believe I saw that in my vision. It was very crisp, it was very clear. I heard the rushing waterfalls, I saw the beautiful natural pools, and it just reminded me that when times get stressful and when things get hard, take a step back and retreat into your own nature and take time for yourself. I can't believe that hasn't been a minute yet. It's going to talk. There we go. Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you. Okay. What small act of kindness were you once shown that you will never forget? What small act of kindness were you once shown that you will never forget? Sonia.
Thank you, Topics Master. What a very interesting question. What small kindness was I shown that I won't forget? That brings to mind a kindness that I found in my mailbox. So when I was expecting in my last pregnancy, I was fairly ill, and a friend in the neighborhood knew about this. And one day I opened my mailbox and I found some ginger tea. This helps with morning sickness. And it was completely unexpected. And she never told me she was dropping it by. She never called to follow up to say, did you get it? It was just a wonderful surprise. And I knew it was from her because she left a small note, but there was no discussion about it. It was this invisible, tangible hand that was held out to me, and it was beautiful. And it was very small. It didn't cost her very much, but it was so meaningful to me in that time because it meant that my friend was listening to me, heard about me, thought about me, went shopping at the grocery store, picked it off the shelf, and I just felt so valued at that time. So it was small, but I say, if you're thinking of doing something small for someone and you think they won't notice, go ahead and do it. It might just make their day. Thank you.
Thank you all. This concludes our table topic session this evening. Thank you all. Pass it back
Thank
over
you.
to Summers.
Thank you, Toastmaster Micheline, for your creativity. Could I get a brief timers report?
All speakers were within the allotted time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. The table topics speakers were Jack Miller, Mike Katave, Gary Nooper, Jennifer McDowell, and Sonia Garate. Are we ready to vote?
I think we'll wait until after the
We'll vote.
evaluations.
The third section of our meeting is evaluations, the gift of instant feedback, a key part of the success of the Toastmasters program. Please welcome Sobia Sahid as our general evaluator this evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Summer. So we have the timers report for the table topic? Not yet? Okay. So timer, please, can you demonstrate the timing signals for speech evaluation? Ray,
So the speech evaluation. Okay, are you able to hear?
Yes.
The speech evaluation should be between 2 and 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will place a green background. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I will have a yellow background. And at 3 minutes, I will have a red background.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. Now evaluating Toastmaster Susanna Toledar, please welcome Toastmaster Shasti Stewart. Shasti Stewart.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Madam General Evaluator. It's always a pleasure. And I'll be evaluating the one and the only, Susanna. So Susanna, when you came up, you provided the Toastmaster with a brief introduction, which I always think that's very effective to give us an insight of what you will be discussing and who you are. You also provided us 4 points. One was self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And throughout your speech, you discussed and you pointed several things about each point. You are a very organized person, very detailed oriented, I have noticed. And your speech was very well organized. But you reached out to me and you asked me, Shashri, can you be my evaluator? And I was thinking, well, I need to provide you some points that you could use so that you could improve on your next speech. So I don't want you to see this as a negative, but I want to provide you some insights that could be helpful for future speeches. So a few things that you could improve on is number one, and you're not the only one who does this, but a lot of speakers do. If you're going to be a speaker, please stand. The reason why is because we are unable to see your hands, we are unable to see your gestures, and you have powerful gestures. I couldn't see them. I saw half of your hands, but I couldn't see all the powerful gestures that you were making. I couldn't see your torso. That helps you convey your message even better to our audience. Also, I wouldn't put that against you, but you had a minor interruption by your son or your child, which is not a bad thing. And lastly, your introduction, the one that you provided to the Toastmaster. Whenever you provide an introduction to the Toastmaster, it is more beneficial if it's about you. Please welcome Susanna, mother of 3, a mother of 2, proud wife. Where are you from? I think that's more effective. And then you go into your speech and then you could provide that summary. But in conclusion, you left us with a question. Are you all emotionally aware leaders? I am. Your smile was disarming. I look forward to hearing more speeches from you, and hopefully you take these insights and use it for your next speech. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmasters Shastri Stewart. Now, please welcome Toastmaster Hyon Green for evaluating Toastmaster Connie Andrews. Toastmaster Hyon.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Connie. Where are you? There you are. Connie has this special gift to take on a different attitude, almost different persona, based on the speech that she was going to give. You certainly remember that super energized, high energy, high voltage speech she has given not too long ago. And this week, she gave a speech on stress. I almost saw Connie's real person this time. She didn't use high energy. It is almost like an air of benevolence that she took on to tell us how to manage our stress. And who isn't interested in that subject? And she used the vocal variety. She used a lot of different techniques that as a Toastmaster, we are all trained to use, especially this speech about in order to clean a house, you must clean the mud. This one requires a lot of hand gesture and body language. And she used them very well. And she also used vocal variety, as I mentioned, when she said in the beginning, many, many, many years. So you can tell that it was a lot of years that went into for the studies on stress. So it was a wonderful speech. I have two suggestions to offer to you to make your speech even better. One, when you are telling us, showing us the meridian points, it would have been much more effective had you looked at the camera straight on. When you were showing us the tapping here and all that, rather than looking at your note once in a while, you would have captivated us throughout the entire speech. And the second advice that I wanted to offer is telling a story. If you had given us a story, for example, oh, I had a $500,000 transaction that I was almost going to close. It fell apart. I was so stressed. Then I remembered meridian. I did however meridian that you wanted to show us. If you use the story to illustrate to us the effectiveness of the meridian, it would have been much more strong. Well, again, I'm always impressed at the versatility of your way of giving speeches. And this speech, of course, was wonderful. I learned a lot. Thank you, Connie. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hyan. Timer, may I please have a timer's report on the speech evaluations? Ray, you need to unmute yourself, please.
Be nice after the third time, but all speakers were within the allotted time. Thank you, Toast.
So, respected President, are we going to vote at this time for the best evaluator, or we will wait for this?
We can vote now.
Yes, we're voting.
So we'll first vote will be for the table topic speakers. I'll launch that vote for us now. Okay. Thank you. And we will now vote for the best evaluator for the evening.
Are we going to move on?
We'll end the polling in 10 seconds. Has everyone voted? Okay. We can move on. Thank you, Toastmaster Sabia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gary. Grammarian, can we have a brief grammarian report, please?
Certainly, Toastmaster Subia. So the word benevolent was used correctly 4 times tonight. And some phrases that I will recall for a long time are employees don't quit their jobs, they quit their boss. That was wonderfully said. And also some misuse of language that we could correct is, I heard the phrase much more strong. We could choose to say much more impactful in the future. And besides that, most of our language tonight was on point with correct use of verbiage and tense. Thank you, Toastmaster Subia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. May I please have the counters report?
Yes. For our meeting, the total number was 18 filler words, and the most used filler word was For your specific tally, please see me after the meeting. Oh, and the following members did not use any filler words, and it was the majority of us, so congratulations. We have Jennifer McDougall, Keon Green, Micheline, Sonia, Mike, Jack, and Oh, yes, that's it. Oh, and Shay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shay, for your report. So I will start with our evaluators. As we know, both Shastri and Ion are seasoned evaluators. They do not need any introduction. They both used Oreo cookie method to provide the speakers with a valuable feedback and some suggestions how they can improve, and their good points, what they used in their speech. And they were all within time. Did the meeting start on time? Yes, well done. Meeting started a minute earlier. It was 6:54 when I saw the meeting started. Were the guests welcome? So we had no guests today. Were dignitaries acknowledged? Yes. And it's really nice to see Jennifer McDoodle after all these, it's been like more than a couple of weeks, like a month or so. So did the Toastmaster of the day lead the group in applause? Yes, and I like how she reminded in the beginning of the meeting, like use emojis, and we all need to work on this. I see Sonia, Gary, and Mike. They are very good at using those clapping hands reactions. They are usually the first or second one to do that, so we all need to work on this. And were the transitions between formal speeches were smooth? Yes, they were. Meeting rules were explained very well. Or highlighted some important aspects. Will the meeting end on, I hope so, will the meeting will end on time? And did the transition between speeches indicated that Toastmaster of the day was listening? Yes, after each speech, she reviewed or highlighted some of the points from the speeches and commented on that. So she was listening, that means. Was the team stated? Yes, it explained very thoroughly and very well, and she explained why she chose this theme. Were the topics appropriate to the audience? Yes, we learned a lot about emotional intelligence. Most of us are working in corporate sectors or are professionals, so we need to know about all this emotional intelligence, emotional quotient, especially in present circumstances. And Connie, she talked about EFT technique, and we definitely need to learn these techniques, especially everyone is nowadays is overwhelmed with thoughts and challenges that are beyond our control. So it was and I really like how she involved, like I noticed like after a minute I was even doing all this too, like following her directions. So she involved everybody. Were any special techniques employed? I didn't notice anything, but what I was thinking, what could be done, as we do it in our school, we always have a superhero day and we all dress up as superheroes. So we could have done that for the meeting, and I'm sure each one of us must have a superhero t-shirt. I even had one and I never realized I could have worn that. And I always like, how Micheline always come up with some unique ways for doing table topics. That's awesome. And I am sure you all agree with me. What else? Were members called on in appropriate order? Yes. People with meeting with no roles and second with the roles and all that. That was good. Was the topic stated first and then the name of the member was identified? Yes. She did an amazing job with this. How has each participant improved? I'm honestly, if I look at myself, I think I am the one who needs to improve more than anyone else. Everyone is doing an amazing job. Were any special techniques used? Impromptu speaking can be improved. All participants were amazing today with impromptu speech. I think all the table topics participants did an awesome job. A lot of things went well, except for sometimes we have to remind, and I think it happened to me too, that we forgot to unmute ourselves and then we are talking and people cannot hear that. So we can work on this a little bit. Timer, our counter. This concludes my evaluation report, and I will hand over back to Toastmaster Summer. The Toastmaster Summer, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sophia. At this time, we will present the awards for the best speech, best table topics, and best speech evaluator. Gary, will you be presenting the
Yes.
awards? Perfect.
Thank you, Toastmaster Summer. If you can please put a warm round of applause for our first place speaker for this evening, Toastmaster Susanna. And for our table topics speaker of the evening, give a warm round of applause to Toastmaster Mike. For the record, I love Batman too. And finally, for our evaluator, please give a round of applause to Toastmaster Hyun. Thank you, Toastmaster Summer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation. It has been my pleasure to serve as your Toastmaster of the day. Please welcome back our acting club president, Toastmaster Shay Graves.
Hello. Thank you again for also that was my filler word. Thank you again for such a wonderful meeting. I always look forward to Monday nights. I just want to give you guys a couple reminders. And can you hear me? Because I see my camera is frozen.
Okay. We can hear you.
Okay, so a couple reminders. When you're not able to make our meetings, make sure that you alert us through the agenda notes. So make sure you're filling that in, whether it's last minute, short notice, or planned. Also, I'd like to remind you about writing your intros and having that filled in. So far for the last 2 weeks, we had 2 speakers. So I just invite you to keep signing up. This is a perfect time to keep moving forward on your pathways goals. So don't let it pass you by if there's ample space. In closing, we had no guests tonight, so please go ahead and invite guests. This is also a convenient time to go ahead and invite people from the comfort of their own homes to check out what we are, and then invite them physically. Seeing a message. Okay, and also we don't have a Toastmaster for next week. So who would like to sign up?
Shay, I believe is next week the week we're doing the voting and acceptance speeches.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and I said I would be the Toastmaster then because a lot of the members will be speaking.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Gary. And the following week, I think I have Jack. Was it that you wanted to be a Toastmaster of the day for the following week, or you just wanted to make sure that we checked to see that we had someone in place? Okay. All right. So we're on it.
I don't think we have an agenda for the following week. We have to create it once Stacy has transitioned over.
Okay. All right. So we'll be on that. And I just invite you by Wednesday to be checking the agendas to see what's filled and where you can step in to support the club. But thank you again.
Just a reminder for the the elections. It's very important once you have everyone in their new roles that you go into toastmasters.org and update your newly elected officials before June 30th.
Okay, update before June 30th.
Mm-hmm. And if you need help with that, please let me know.
Okay, thank you for that reminder. Also,
my final tasks as your area director.
Okay.
Don't be rushing to run away.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to be a member at large. I'm so excited about that. And I can compete now in the contest. Woo! So excited about that.
With us. We're so lucky.
Yes, very excited.
We got to celebrate with Jennifer earlier because she was inducted. as Distinguished Toastmaster, but wasn't also Hyun inducted into a new title? Is that true, Hyun?
Yes, it is truth.
Yes, so we want to celebrate with you as well. Please,
Yes, thank you.
That you were inducted as?
Yeah. I'm going to be area director, but not for this area, area 43, which is out in West Palm Beach area, the east of here.
So congratulations. Woo!
Yeah, Jennifer, I really need your help. I cannot do this alone, no way.
Whatever you need.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes our meeting for tonight. Again, thank you, and continue to be safe as we're transitioning and opening back up. Okay. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a blessed week. See you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.